Growing up, reading comic books led me to believe that ninjas would be a much bigger and more consistent problem than they ever really have been.
But they haven't been, and maybe that's just because they're so stealthy. Welcome to Top 10 Nerd. I'm Adam.
And I'm Andrew.
And today we'll be looking at the top 10 unstoppable ninjas in comic books.
To be clear, we are using the more informal definition of ninja today, meaning that all of the characters on this list use a combination of stealth, subterfuge, and martial arts to defeat their enemies.
But they are not necessarily practitioners of the Japanese art of ninjutsu. Now with that out of the way, let's dive in with number 10, Kirigi. Kirigi is the assassin of the hand, described as their greatest warrior who has allegedly been around for centuries all the way back to feudal Japan. Kirigi was incredibly faithful to the Order of Ninja, so much so that he keeps being brought back from the afterlife to continue his service. It's even said that he isn't even capable of fully passing away. His most significant deaths came at the hands of Elektra, who had impaled him the first time, and after only a short recovery period, he was back in the game pursuing after her. The second time, Elektra completely lopped off his massive ninja head, which you think would have done the trick, but alas, his head and body were reattached in a ritual performed by the hand and its current jonin, and he came back to go after Daredevil's mentor, Stick. This time though, he underestimated his opponents, and Stick was assisted by some of his agents, Staff, Claw, and Stone, who defeated the ninja and destroyed his body with fire, which seemed to be the actual end in Daredevil 188 from 1982.
Number 9, Kato. The much more skilled and impressive sidekick of the Green Hornet, Kato was actually trained from a young age by his father in the ways of the samurai, being instilled in the 7 virtues of Bushido: integrity, courage, charity, respect, honesty, honor, and loyalty. He excelled in his studies, but longed to be taught the secret methods that his father knew, known as the Shadow Ways. When he was old enough, he learned these methods, becoming a silent and effective warrior. He joined the Japanese army in World War II, but after seeing the atrocities carried out by his fellow soldiers at the Nanking Massacre in 1937, he killed his squad and swore off killing from there on out. He used the ways of the ninja to sabotage the Japanese war effort before he was eventually captured. He was saved from execution by Britt Reed and swore a life debt to him, following him back to America. When Britt decided to take up crime fighting as the Green Hornet, Kato trained him how to fight and became his assistant and driver for the infamous supercar, the Black Beauty. When not in their crime-fighting personas, Kato acts as Britt's butler in order to stay close and protect his employer. He, of course, was played by Bruce Lee in the classic 60s television show. Number 8, Ninjak. Ninjak was born Colin King, the son of wealthy parents who were members of Britain's MI6. They were quite neglectful, and thus Colin was mostly raised by the family butler, who was also MI6, and trained the young boy in the arts of deceit, ambush, and self-sufficiency. When he growed up, he joined the intelligence community and began more intense training. When his teacher/lover was fridged by a hitman working for the evil undead monk, he set out on a quest for revenge. When he had succeeded in this and finished his training, he rose through the ranks, eventually becoming the head of MI6's new ninja program, being given the designation Ninja K or Ninjak. He began working as a freelance assassin and lives a double life as a wealthy British playboy. He is considered the greatest mercenary in the Valiant Entertainment comic universe.
Hey, we had a lot of fun making this list, and we would love to make a part 2, so if you enjoyed watching, make sure to drop a like to let us know you want some more. And in at number 7 is Shredder. Even though Shredder, or Oroku Saki, and his clan of ninja, the Foot Clan, didn't actually start off as the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles' #1 nemesis, their popularity and that of the Turtles themselves boomed thanks to the animated series that came out in 1987, boosting them right up to the top of the list of TMNT villains. Originally, they were created thanks to popularity of ninja in comic books that all really started with the Hand in Marvel Comics, but over time, Shredder and the clan came into their own. In Mirage Comics, where he first appeared, Oroku Saki was the younger brother of another Foot Clan ninja named Oroku Nagi. Nagi was taken down by yet another ninja named Hamato Yoshi, who was defending his love interest Tang Shen. Yoshi and Shen fled to New York with Yoshi's pet rat, Splinter, but they were pursued by Oroku Saki, who vowed and eventually got his revenge, which saw him promoted to the leader of the New York branch of Foot Ninja. Now fast forward several years and he was thought to be defeated by Shredder and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but instead he was cloned with all his memories, which allowed him to return. But that's the original origin. There have been many others over the years, almost always involving Hamoto Yoshi, like the one from the show that saw Shredder take control of the Foot Clan from Yoshi by having him banished to New York, which is when Shredder tried to bring him down for good with the help of a little mutagen that turned Yoshi into Splinter.
Number 6. Katana. This is Katana. She's got my back. She could cut all of you in half with one sword stroke, just like mowing the lawn. I would advise not getting killed by her. Her sword traps the souls of its victims. She started out as an Olympic martial artist in Japan named Tatsu Yamashiro. When her brother-in-law fell in love with her, he used the mystical Soul Taker sword to dispatch Tatsu's family. She overpowered him and took the sword and got her revenge. She decided to take the sword and become an anti-hero who fights for justice, calling herself Katana. She would go on to join several super teams in her quest for revenge and justice, including the Outsiders, the Birds of Prey, the Justice League Reserves, and Amanda Waller's Task Force X. She is gifted in martial arts, stealth and investigating, and of course swordsmanship, once defeating the massive killer Croc with one strike. Number 5. Daredevil. When Matt Murdock was a young boy, he was hit by a truck that was carrying a radioactive isotope. This isotope got in his eyes and blinded him, but also heightened his other senses, allowing him to develop his trademark radar sense, which helps him to navigate the world. From a young age, he was trained by a blind assassin known as Stick, who trained him to use his heightened senses to become one of the most gifted martial artists in the Marvel Universe. He isn't a ninja in the traditional sense, but he is known for hiding in the shadows and waiting to strike against his enemies. Between his martial arts prowess and his radar sense, which Stan Lee described as being more powerful than Spider-Man's spider sense, Matt Murdock is an extremely effective fighter, having gone up against and defeated hundreds of Yakuza at once in Daredevil Volume 2, number 57.
And in at number 4 is Elektra. I promise you that Elektra is much cooler than she was made out to be in that Ben Affleck Daredevil movie. Elektra Natchios is one of the deadliest assassins in the whole of Marvel Comics. Starting her martial arts training at the age of 10, she quickly rose past any expectations and so went off in search of a higher level of training with Stick and the Chast. But Stick eventually abandoned her as she was far too angry and aggressive, which led to her catching the attention of the rivals of Chast, the Hand. Eventually, Elektra moved back to the United States and went to Columbia University, which is where she met and formed a relationship with Matt Murdock, Daredevil. Thanks to this relationship with Matt, plus her own constantly wavering loyalties, she has worked as an assassin and even the leader of the Hand, but also directly against the Hand. She's been a mercenary, a straight up hero, and a straight up villain, and she's even taken on the mantle of Daredevil himself. She has even gone to and returned from the afterlife, which actually granted her extra abilities thanks to a connection to the demon known as the Beast. She has an assassin's instinct and heightened awareness, giving her incredible reflexes. She has the ability to throw her mind into the bodies of others to track targets. She can perform hypnosis, slight telekinesis, precognition. She can defend her mind from psychics and even perform a chi-based silent scream. And also, she's a wizard with those twin Sai. Very cool. And in at number 3 is the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Originally created as a parody comic of other popular comics like Daredevil, Ronin, and the X-Men, with the idea of slow-moving turtles as ninjas being at first a hilarious idea, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, created by Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird for their Mirage Studios comic, became a major pop culture franchise with a crazy popular animated TV show, 6 feature films, a ton of video games, and don't even get me started on the toys. After being exposed to a green oozing mutagen after a traffic accident, these 4 pet turtles grow to a human size and are granted enhanced intelligence. They were adopted by the pet rat of a ninjutsu master who had also been exposed to the mutagen, and all 5 of them developed the ability to speak, which is when Splinter, the rat, trained them in the ninjutsu skills he observed and copied from his owner. Splinter gave the turtles the names of Donatello, arguably the smartest, most inventive turtle wielding his bow staff, Leonardo, the most Sr., serious and commanding of the turtles with his twin katanas, Michelangelo, the most lighthearted, childlike of the brothers with his nunchaku, and Raphael with his sarcasm and quick temper and utilizing twin sai in battle. They were based off of a book he read about Renaissance artists back in the day. Now, pretty much every iteration of their origin has followed similar beginnings, and they almost always follow the same personality traits and weapons wherever you see them. The TMNT do battle with petty criminals, evil overlords, other mutated animals, and alien invaders, and they even find themselves teaming up with characters from other comics from time to time, most famously, the Dark Knight himself.
Speaking of the Dark Knight, at number 2 we have Batman. When Bruce Wayne was a child, he witnessed the deaths of his parents at the hands of a robber, and he vowed to honor them by fighting crime and making Gotham City a better place. Using his massive fortune, he spent years traveling the world learning every skill that he could to be a more effective crime fighter. He trained with master detectives, gadget builders, car drivers, and escape artists, but most relevant to this list, he trained with the most skilled martial arts masters in the world, mastering every form of combat he could find to become one of the most proficient fighters in the DC universe. When he returned to Gotham, he used the skills he learned to become Batman and used his ninja skills to become a figure of terror for Gotham's underworld, hiding in the shadows and striking when his enemies least expect it. He has used his ninja-like skills to defeat thousands of common thugs over the years, as well as some of the most skilled and dangerous fighters in the DC universe, such as Deathstroke and Ra's al Ghul. He is also shown to be an effective teacher of his methods, having trained other heroes such as Nightwing, Red Hood, Batgirl, and Robin, just to name a few.
In at number 1 is Lady Shiva. Sandra Wu-san is one of the deadliest martial artists in the world. As a kid, Sandra and her sister Carolyn trained with each other, creating a unique martial art that they mastered and would display in spars with each other, which unfortunately gained the attention of David Kane, Ra's al Ghul, and the League of Assassins. Sandra always held back against her sister, and in order to unlock her true potential, David Kane removed Carolyn from the equation. This did allow Sandra to unlock her true potential and to become a martial artist with almost no rival except for one, her own daughter, Cassandra Kane. Sandra took on the name Lady Shiva after the Hindu god of destruction, and she has had many different allegiances that all ultimately serve whatever her own goals are, which is usually just trying to find a worthy challenge. She has trained both Batman and one of the best Robins, Tim Drake. Interestingly, she is actually created for the Richard Dragon Kung Fu Fighter series, and there she was much more of a traditional ninja, but once she came over to DC and started appearing more prominently in Batman comics, she kept her ninja training, using it alongside her incredible fighting skill to be one of the deadliest women to ever grace the pages of comic books. And now, dear friends, we have reached the end of the list for today.
But fret not, for if you liked this video, there is a likelihood that we shall return with more unstoppable ninjas in comic books. I'm Andrew.
And I'm Adam. This has been Top 10 Nerd, and we will catch you on the flippity flop.
And thank you for liking this video and subscribing to our channel.
Peace out!